Hello, I'm Attorney Louis Haskell in beautiful Ayutthaya, Thailand. And I'm looking forward to the upcoming tax season. And one of the things that always makes me sad during tax season is kind of the unforced errors that my clients make tax-wise. And probably the biggest one involve 401k withdrawals. What we see a lot of, well, really is two things that clients do wrong with a certain amount of consistency. One is that whenever they leave their job, they empty their 401k. If I were a retirement planner, that would just drive me bats. From a retirement planning point of view, there's just nothing worse that you can do. As someone who does taxes, it also makes me sad because my clients are, they're working, so they're almost always under age 59 and a half, which means that they're subject to the 10% penalty. And then on top of that, there's oftentimes enough money coming out that they force themselves into a higher tax bracket. So it's very common between state and federal that we see the government taking a third or even more of the client's hard-earned, retirement savings. And there's really no good reason for that. You do always have the option of leaving it behind, but even better is either to roll it over into a 401k if you're a new employer, if you have one, or just simply roll it over into an IRA. Then it still sits there in a retirement account. It's still growing tax deferred, and you don't have the penalties, you don't have the tax liability, you don't have the IRS swooping down and taking your money. The other thing that we see that is very troubling is people emptying their 401ks when they retire. In other words, taking all the money at once. There's absolutely no good reason to do this, and it creates lots of problems. I mean, the nice thing about a 401k, or the idea behind the 401k, is that you'd be taking the money out, in small bits when you're not working, so that the tax treatment of the money would be very, very favorable. For example, that you don't have a job, but you're taking $30,000 a year out of your 401k, you're not going to pay a lot of tax on that. But if you take it all out at once, sometimes my clients have six-figure retirement accounts, taking out $100,000, $200,000 all at once. And they even worked part of the year. So they have put themselves into an extremely high tax bracket. I mean, at least they don't have the 10% penalty because they're over 59 and a half. But they're paying a lot of tax that they really don't need to be paying, that they shouldn't have had to pay, and which they wouldn't have paid if they just took it out a little bit at a time. There is one other mistake that people make, and I think though that this one is usually more of a misunderstanding than a mistake, and that has to do with first-time homebuyers. People think that because they're first-time homebuyers, they can take their money out of their 401k and not pay tax. That's just simply not true. There is a benefit for first-time homebuyers, but it basically reduces penalty, and it reduces penalty by up to $1,000. So it's really not a big deal. So, I mean, if you have to raid the 401k in order to buy the house, I suppose that's something that you need to do, although I would recommend a 401k loan in most cases. But don't be taking, more than you need or as much as you possibly can just because you think you have found a way to get it out tax-free, because you have not. In any event, I am looking forward to tax season, looking forward to seeing my old friends who visit me once a year. And until then, enjoy. Thank you.